morning, good morning. Let's see, are we live? Happy Sunday. Looks like we are. Cool. A little bit of a late start today, but you know, it's Sunday. I feel like just taking it easy. That's the point. Alright, just getting situated here. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Some tea. Alright, so happy Sunday. Welcome to the stream. I'm gonna take it easy today. Stayed up late last night. So if that's you, don't worry, you're in the right place. We're taking it easy today. So what we do here, we're gonna practice a seated meditation, go into some movement, end with some crystal singing bowls for another meditation. Yeah, we're just gonna take it easy, stretch out. If there's anything in particular you'd like to work on or that you're feeling in your body, let me know, and I'll do my best to incorporate it into class. So it's all levels. All you need is a little space to practice. We have quite a few people who join and just do chair yoga. So even if your space is the chair, then it's just the space of a chair, then that's just fine too. You can make it work. Alright, let's go. I'm going to roll out my mat. If you have a yoga mat, then it's a great idea to use it because it's a little easier on your joints, especially like on a hardwood floor. But if you're just working with like a carpet like I am, you can work there too. Yeah, so let's go set up our space. Alright, normally we'd set it up a little further back, but we've got Lucy in the house, so we're just gonna let her have this space until we actually really need it. Because it's nice to share, I think. So, everything that I lead you through is just an invitation. Don't get hung up on how it looks. It's more about how it feels in your body. I just really want you to leave this practice feeling better than you did coming into it. So whatever that takes, whatever that means to you, to feel better, then I want you to do what you have to do that, so that that is so. This class, or this practice on Sundays, is about recovery and recuperation. It's not about getting like a deep workout in or anything like that. If that's your jam, that's great. And then the invitation here is just to explore what movement could mean in a different direction. So when is movement a challenge? It's pretty easy actually to think of a bunch of ideas when we're challenging ourselves, and that's awesome. I love running and pushing myself and all of that. And then yoga is the other side kind of that coin, which is about active rest and restoration. So restoring through movement. So let's pause the music. We'll start seated nice and tall, just to get grounded. Hands will, hands will come to rest on the lap. Either palms down to ground down, or palms up to give and receive energy if you feel you've got a little extra to give today. Heart comes over hips, head over heart. Like there's a string pulling you up from the crown of your head towards the sky, just seated up tall. Well, eyes can close if that's comfortable. If not, just a soft gaze beyond your legs is totally fine. We'll start with 3 cleansing breaths, in through the nose, and an audible sigh out of the mouth. Shoulders drop away. Allow the breath to continue in and out through the nose if available, returning to a natural breath's pace. And we'll just take a moment here to arrive. We'll let go of everything that came before and everything that's to come up after. Become present to yourself here in this moment, here in this space. And begin to allow sounds into your awareness. Just listening for sounds at a distance, maybe passing traffic or some birds outside your window. Perhaps sounds closer to you, the humming of a light, shuffling of a pet. Allowing all sounds in all part of this moment, this experience. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. And feel the weight where your body makes contact with the ground below you. The weight of your hands on your knees. And just get a general sense of how the body feels. Begin to scan the body from head down towards toes. Checking in for any places of tightness or sensitivity, any restlessness or fidgeting. Making these observations without judgment, just take note to work into the places that call out for your attention throughout your practice here today. And when the mind wanders, bring it back to the body, scanning down. We'll shift the awareness from the body, Annamaya Kosha, to the breath and energetic level, Pranamaya Kosha. Just taking a notice where you're at in this moment energetically. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being exhausted, fatigued, ready to crawl into bed, 10 being so full of energy it's hard to sit still. And we'll shift that awareness to the breath. No need to change it, just observe inhalations, exhalations, in whatever space in between. Just noticing the evenness or sporadicness of the breath, how deep or shallow. And shifting that attention to the mind, manomaya kosha. Allow thoughts and feelings to arise freely here, just for a few moments. So watching the thoughts at a distance. Notice what are the quality of the thoughts today. Do they have a positive or a negative tilt to them? Are they ruminating on the past or attempting to predict the future? Not right or wrong, not good or bad, just something to notice. We'll bring the attention back down to the breath. This time actively expanding the breath. Every inhale sips in a little more air. And every exhale lets something more go. Inhales fill belly like a balloon expanding with air. And exhales drop belly button in towards spine, deflating. Inhale fills belly and ribs with air. Exhale releases ribs and belly. Inhale fills belly, ribs, and chest. Exhale, releasing chest, ribs, belly. Following like this in this 3-part breath at your own pace. Filling from bottom to top and exhaling top to bottom. Breathing in and out through the nose, working on expanding these 3 parts of breath in the body. It's called Dirga Pranayama, 3-part breath. If you're having trouble isolating any of those parts, you can move your hands along with your breath, so you can feel the belly rise and expand on the inhale. Feel the ribs expand out to the sides, chest lifts, and feel the chest fall, ribs knit in, belly button pull in towards spine on the exhale. This 3-part breath helps calm us out of the sympathetic fight or flight mode into parasympathetic rest and digest mode. As we slow down the breath and deepen it, you can continue this type of deep belly breathing throughout our practice here today. We'll bring our hands to meet at heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra. No space between the fingers and the thumbs press into the sternum. Hi Adit, hi the Galvo, welcome in. We're just about to set the intention for class. So whatever your reason is for showing up today, for practicing, and the invitation is just to set it in the positive and affirmative tense, as if it's already happening. So it might sound something like, I flow through life with ease and grace. And we'll seal that intention with the sound of Om. You're invited to chant along with me, of course. First, a cleansing breath. Allow your hands to release to your lap. Chin drops towards chest. And then inhale, right ear rolls over towards right shoulder. Exhaling, chin to chest and left ear towards left shoulder. Hi, good morning, Tommy 778. Welcome to class. De Galvo, if you're still here, hello, hello. I don't really consider yoga a sport, but yeah, we're practicing yoga today and every day. Besides that, I just run. And anything else that I'm invited to, I'm pretty much down for when it comes to movement. So the next time the head rolls through center, let's just bring it up to neutral and begin to roll the shoulders forward, beginning to warm up the space between the shoulder blades and in the upper back. It's just beginning of class, we're really just gently warming up the body, waking it up, just kind of checking in to see what's up. Roll the shoulders back, opening up the chest, space around the collarbones. And so we warm up the body through dynamic stretching, like we're moving through the stretches, we're not holding anything real deep in the beginning. Alright, coming to stillness in the shoulders. We'll keep warming up the neck with some neck rolls and just turn to the side so you can see the movement, but you can stay facing forward. Just still seated up tall from the spine, shoulders down. We're not going to move at all. We're just going to move the head and neck. So chin drops down towards chest, nose reaches towards the ground, forward towards the wall in front, up towards the sky above, and back towards the wall behind. And chin tucks back in towards chest. So I'm drawing a circle with my nose, reaching to the very farthest edges of my range of motion. Just bringing movement into the cervical spine, into the neck. Keep the breathing full. It can be tempting to hold our breath when we're trying something. Change directions, the chin reaches forward, down towards the ground, tucks in and back towards the sky. So we're working on opening up this new pattern of movement in the body. Helps lubricate the spine with synovial fluid. For me, it's helped a lot with neck pain that I get from just like sitting at a desk or looking down. I've been trying to be better about painting vertically instead of horizontally, so I'm like looking straight ahead instead of down onto a flat surface, but you know, it all takes practice. You bring it back to center, releasing that movement. You can look over left shoulder and right shoulder, just shake it out. Okay, so if you're sitting on something, you can just place it off to the side, switch the orientation of the cross of your legs. Ooh, I need tea, my voice is running away. We'll release our hands onto knees, and then we'll press the chest forward to the right, back, rounding in the spine, and to the left. Forward, right, back, left. So we're just drawing this big circle with the chest. It's like the top half of your body is the spoon, the spoon stirring in the hips. There's really no wrong way of doing this either. Just waking up the spine, change directions. So left, round in the spine back, right, and forward. A lot of classes a little free movement. Just kind of get to explore your body and how you're feeling. Back to center, just nice and tall. Inhale, the arms sweep up overhead. And exhale, we'll twist over to the right. Left hand lands on right knee, right hand lands on the ground behind you. Chest opens towards side wall. Inhale, back up through center. And exhale, twist to the left. Following the breath in to rise. And out to twist, like wringing out a sponge. Inhale, center. And exhale to twist, alternating sides. We got once more on each side like that. Not forcing anything, doesn't have to be the deepest twist of your life or anything like that. Just the first couple twists of the day. At least they are for me. Back through center. Bend in the elbows. Forearms come to touch, interlace the fingers, and just roll out the wrists. So when we bring movement into joints, change directions, it signals the body to send some lubrication, some synovial fluid there. That's just going to help us actually move through things with more ease and comfort. Shake off water, and we'll extend the legs out in front. Seated cross-legged for a minute here, huh? Extend the legs out in front, spread and scrunch the toes, roll out the ankles. Any clicks and cracks and all of that, we're just kind of getting that out of the way here. Change directions. We'll bend in the knees, feet come like mats distance apart, nice and wide. Drop the knees side to side. Just waking up the hips, allow the knees to come all the way down towards the ground here. Drop the knees over to the right, making this stag position with a zigzag in the legs. So the feet and knees are on the ground. They're not on top of one another. Come to frame this right knee. The deep breath in, pull the shoulders back, tilt the chest up. A proud pigeon. And exhale, wave down. Belly, chest, head lowers down. And inhale rolls you up the round spine. Back to that starting position. Exhale waves you down. Inhale rolls you up. Once more like that. So just imagine the vertebra of your spine moving freely and smoothly. And the next time you wave down, belly, chest, head will come to land either on stacked fists, hands, or maybe your head reaches all the way to the ground. We're just breathing into the right hip. And just let yourself relax over this leg, just breathing into that gentle hip stretch. Every exhale just lets your body melt a little bit softer, less effort. Let gravity do the work here. And we'll press our hands into the ground. Coming back upright. So here, flexing through the left ankle. Hands are just here to support you. Still framing this front knee. We're going to lift the left leg, trying to get the knee and the ankle to rise at the same time, and then gently lower down. Lift and gently lower down. So squeezing this gluteus medius, side, hip, butt area to make that happen. And just try to avoid momentum. So like I shifted forward, and we're trying to just stay upright, lift, and gently lower. If you're here and you can't lift this leg, just bring your chest a little bit further over this knee. The further you are away, counterbalancing, the easier it's going to be. So you just want to be at the point where it's as difficult as it can be while still being possible to move in this way. 2, 1. Nice. All right. Sitting back, drop the knees side to side. So those movements help build muscle like in the deep joint area. So it's all these stabilization muscles that I really like to focus on that usually kind of get looked over when in other things like in lifting weights and whatnot. Yoga, we get to kind of fill in the gaps for things like that. So we're dropping the knees over to the left. Hands come to frame the left knee. Inhale, pulls the shoulders back, chest tilts up. Exhale, wave it down. Belly, chest, head. Inhale, rolls you up. Heavy head comes up last. So we're waving down on the exhale. Rolling up on the inhale. One more like this. And this next time you wave down, belly, chest, head, allow your head to come down to rest on the ground or stacked fists. And here we're just going to use the breath, allow the body to relax over this left leg, breathing into that left hip and glute that we were just strengthening. So sometimes these poses can be as difficult or like as challenging, I should say, as any of the more complex poses, because all there is to do is breathe and relax, and often that can be more difficult than putting effort in. The effort of this pose is just letting go. And we'll press our hands into the ground, come back upright, flex the right heel, and then we're lifting, trying to get the knee and the ankle off of the mat at the same time and lowering them down so they touch at the same time. So there's control here. We're not like jarringly pressing forward to get the leg up or allowing the knee to slam down. Just nice, controlled movements. Once again, if this is new to you, just notice if you held your breath. Often when we're trying to figure out how to do a pose or get into a movement, we'll hold our breaths. We think it's making it easier, but if you think about it, we're always breathing naturally. So every time we hold our breath, it's like we're multitasking. And right now we just want to focus on squeezing this right outer leg for 3, 2, 1. Nice. Hands release back behind you. Just drop the knees side to side. Free movement, releasing some of that effort. We'll drop the knees to the right. Hands come to frame the right knee. And press it into our tabletop pose. Knees below hips, wrists below shoulders. Let's tuck the toes under and press them up for downward facing dog. So just nice and gentle, extending the legs up. And we're gonna have to wake them up. So just pedaling out the feet, lifting one heel and then the other. Just allowing your body to kind of work its way into this shape. The hips are pressing up and back towards where the back wall meets the ceiling. We're sending the chest back too. Often we're here and it can feel like a perpetual push-up situation, but we actually want to bring the chest towards the thighs, if you will, and get to be a straight line from the wrist to the hips. Straight line. If it's breaking at the shoulders, you're going to want to bend the knees so that you can send the hips up and further back behind you. Heels are pressing down towards the ground. It's not like the goal, like, it's okay if your heels don't touch the ground, but if they can, you want to place them there. If that's easy for you, you can lift the toes. There's always more. So there's never really a rush to get there. Hey, weird moves. What is it good? And Jack the Geek raiding with a party of 9. Grand Duke, hello. Welcome in, friends. Caught me in an upside down moment. Thanks for the raid. That's so sweet. How was your stream, Jack? What did you? Hey, is it? Yes. How did it go? What did you guys do today? So we're just finished up like the warm up more or less of class, and this is just our first downward dog. So welcome in. Welcome in. Head can be heavy. All right. We'll sweep the right leg up and back. Bend in the knee. You can draw big circles here. So go nice and slow. No need for momentum. Pretty solid pull session with some back and biceps. Oh, great. Well, we'll do some upper back stretching for upper back and shoulder stretches for you guys. That way you can stretch out what you just worked out. Build some nice long lean muscle. Working all weekend. All right. Change directions of the circles. Don't release that foot down. Extend the left leg up and back. Bend in the knee. And draw circles here. So you may have already noticed we are building some strength in the arms. It's going to be a little different than what you guys were just doing over there, but the cool thing about stability and balance in yoga is that the muscles have to work really hard to figure out how to stabilize the body in positions like this, and we'll change directions in the circles. So we get to build these deep, smaller stabilization muscles within. Keeping the arms straight, very tempting to bend in the right elbow, but we're not going to do that. We're going to keep it straight, keep the fingertips pressing into the ground, and release that foot to the ground as well. Deep breath in, heels come up off of the ground, and exhale, heels release down. Adho Mukha Svanasana, our downward facing dog. It's really hard. Oh, a downward facing dog, yes. But eventually it kind of feels like home. It kind of feels really nice. Just quite cool. So, right leg sweeps up and back behind you as if it's going to touch the wall behind you. On an exhale, tiger's pose. We're going to round in the spine like cat pose. Bring the knee in towards the nose. Lift up onto the left toes and bring the shoulders up over the wrists. Right foot steps up between the hands. It's okay if it takes more than one step. We're going to gently release the back knee to the mat. So I just let my foot scoot back so I have the space necessary to gently place it down without feeling like all scrunched up or awkward. I can stay in this position for like this long. Down dog is really nice for posterior chain, but I'm not flexible at all. Well, that is okay. Being flexible is definitely not a prerequisite of yoga. In fact, it's a great place to show up if you're not flexible, right? Because how do you improve or change something, you have to practice it. So good for you showing up today. So I'll talk a little alignment here. The right knee is over the right ankle, so it's perpendicular to the ground. The back knee is going to have a little bit more space, so you should feel a deep stretch in this left thigh as you press the hips down towards the ground. But if that's too much for you, you can bring the knee in a little bit closer to the heel, and it's going to be less intense for you. 4 months of solid work, been pretty insane. Oh man, well, I'm glad that you're employed. I feel like that these days is like a blessing. Yoga is more about consistency and improvement versus perfection. Yeah, I think so too. Let's press the shoelace part of the foot, so the top of the foot, into the ground so hard that the knee lifts. So now we're really going to be working into stretching out these quadriceps, this hip flexor. Yeah, I think yoga is just about practice. It's about there's nowhere to go with yoga, or rather, there's an infinite number of places to go. However far you get in a good or advanced you get in a pose, there's always more. So it's just about noticing where you're at in this moment, practicing presence, All right, now we're holding it here, but not the breath. So we hold the pose, but not the breath. Top of the foot's pressing into the ground so hard that the knee's lifted. We're breathing fully here until this whole front leg is engaged. Then we'll release the knee to the mat and sweep the arms up overhead for Anjaneyasana low lunge. So you may feel here that we've come too far and this is too deeply stretched out. Like I said, bring the knee in a bit, and that's going to give you the space necessary to get your shoulders up over your hips. If you're stuck here, it's probably because your back knee is too far behind you. I ended up paying a friend to give me private lessons for yoga. That sounds, or for work. So, deep breath in here, fingertips reach towards the sky, and an exhale, shoulders release down behind you, just relax them away. And then notice here, the lower back's going to want to tilt out, so butt sticking out position, and what we actually want to do is tuck the hips under, so we can keep the pressure and keep the stretch in this front left hip flexor. We got one more deep breath here. Release the hands down to frame the front foot and tuck the left toes under. See everyone later, about to shower and grab some food. Sounds good, Jack. Thanks for the rain and hanging out. Yeah, for yoga, it's hard to find a suitable time. Yeah, for sure. All right, let's tuck the left toes under and then step them in about a foot. Heel toe the right foot a bit to the right edge of the mat, just so there's some space, not like you're on a balance beam. Fingertips are still grazing the ground, so I'm just untented fingertips, not too much weights in there. And I'm just going to work on bending and straightening this front knee. Okay. Then with a bend in this knee, hands come to the hips. And let's bring it all the way up. Here we go. Bringing it all the way up for warrior one. So the heel is down, the left heel is down, foot at a 45-degree angle, right knee's over the ankle, and hands are on the hips. And then notice if the right hip's drawn forward, left hip's drawn back, and pull it in towards center. So your hips are parallel to the short end of the mat, or where you imagine the short end of the mat would be, or parallel to the wall in front of you, if you will. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. And on the exhale, release the arms back behind you. Fingers can interlace like you're holding your own hand if you have the flexibility in the shoulders to get there, the reach to get there. If not, you can hold a belt between your hands or a bandana to fill in that space. Fingers interlaced, shoulders pull back. Extend the front leg straight. So now both your legs are straight. We're going to hold that knee in place for stability. So we squeeze that front leg quadricep. You'll feel your knee actually lift. That's how you know it's engaged.
And here we hinge forward. Really slow, keep the breathing smooth. It doesn't have to happen in one breath. Waking up the the hamstring, the back of this front leg. This is called Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. So from here, maybe you have some space in your shoulders. You can bring the arms up, like your fists are going to touch the ceiling, or even forward towards the wall in front. To hold your balance here, you're going to want to keep pulling this right hip back and pressing the left hip forward, almost like you're trying to scrunch the mat together with your feet. So like both of my feet are pressing towards one another the whole time, and that resistance helps hold the stability and balance in the pose. At the same time, letting the head hang heavy, trying to release any tension from my neck. And just letting my arms reach forward. We just got one more deep breath here. I'll release the fists to the lower back, unlace the fingers, hands come down, bending in this knee. We'll step the left foot up to meet the right. Big toes come to touch, and inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale rolls you all the way up to stand.
The Grand Duke, I don't have that those hotkeys set up yet. I have to like spend a day like actually learning how to do all of that. Apologies, but shout out to Jack for bringing you guys here. I appreciate you. I'm working on the technical aspects still.
So arms sweep up overhead. And exhale, hands down to heart center. This is called Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Eyes follow fingertips, like a little back bend, just a little chest tilt up. On the exhale, forward fold, hinging from the hips. Take your time to get down there. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins. And exhale, hands down to the ground. So here we'll just take a big step back to downward facing dog, back where we met. It's okay, my workout goal is gaining weight and muscles. Nice, so where yoga might fit in there is just to help prevent injury as you're weightlifting and weight training and all of that. It's great. As you gain strength, it's really easy to lose mobility and flexibility. So yoga can really help kind of balance that out, if that makes sense. I already gained like 26 pounds. Whoa, good for you. I weigh like 100, so I'm imagining gaining like a quarter of my weight in muscle. That's huge. I feel like that's really great. Good for you. All right, let's inhale. The left leg sweeps up and back behind you, like your foot's gonna reach the wall. On the exhale, tiger's pose, rounding in the spine. Knee comes in towards nose. Rolling onto the right tiptoes, bring the shoulders up over the wrists. And step the foot in between the hands. Shift the foot back, back, back. And gently release the right knee to the mat. I need to learn how to relax my muscles and get flexible. I'm skinny yet. My height is 6'3", and I just hit 160. Oh yeah, so yeah, you're a whole foot taller than me, so that makes sense. Let's untuck this toe. And just checking in with your alignment. The knee is up over your ankle. Someone's calling me. They don't know that I'm teaching yoga right now. Alright, so knees over the ankles. So we're just keeping this knee safe as we work on strengthening this other leg. Top of the foot, the shoelace part of the foot is pressed to the ground so hard that we lift the knee. And we're just going to gently lower the leg and then straighten it out a few times here, just a dynamic movement. What was? Yeah, so even if it's not yoga, just stretching in general is going to be important to like whatever strength training thing or building that you're doing. I think that people in general, just because I've worked with a lot of like ex-marathon runners and hockey players and baseball players, and who, when they get older, end up in my classes, so I can help reconstruct all the stretching that they didn't do back in the day. Oh, all right. We'll press super hard into the ground and keep this leg straight. So we're holding the position. We're not holding the breath. The breath still stays long and strong. Stretching out the right quadricep and hip flexor. And gently release that knee to the mat and sweep the arms up and overhead for our Anjani asana low lunge. I'm streaming for 2 hours now. If you needed any help, let me know. Oh, for 2 years now. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, I keep it pretty low tech here, but I know the hotkeys is the thing that like I wish I could like shout out people and stuff like other streamers do, but I haven't quite figured that out yet. So here we are. Deep breath in, fingertips reaching towards the sky, and exhale, shoulders drop away from the ears. The hips are pressing down and forward. If it's just feeling too intense to hold the pose this long, you can bring the back knee in a bit, keeping the left knee over the ankle. So it's more of like a marriage proposal type pose. You just want to feel the stretch in the front right thigh. Sometimes that doesn't mean having to go to the deepest extent of it. If it's making you hold your breath or you feel like sharp pain, then you've probably just gone too far. Sometimes our bodies can actually bend deeper than what's actually healthy for us. So you just want to be mindful of that. Last deep breath in here. And exhale to release the hands down to frame the front foot. The lurking, hello. No need, appreciate it. Cool, cool. So the right toes tuck under, and then we're going to shift it in about a foot. Drop the heel to the mat so the foot's at a 45-degree angle, and sweep it up for warrior one, Virabhadrasana 1. So the feet are a little bit closer to the edges of the mat, so they're apart from one another, like hips distance apart from one another, nice and stable, instead of on a balance beam. This knee stays bent over the ankle. You can bring your hands to your hips and just notice if your left hip has come forward. Pull it back in alignment with the right hip so that both hips are the same distance to the wall in front of you for the short end of the mat. Arms sweep up overhead. And on the exhale, arms release down behind you. Fingers interlace. Just change the interlace. So, however your hands naturally come together to hold your own hand, notice which index finger is on top, and then bring the opposite on top. So your non-dominant index finger is in this interlace. So just little things like that, like using your non-dominant hand, help create new neural pathways in your brain. They just make your brain work a little harder, and that's a good thing. Shoulder blades squeeze together. Chest is slightly tilted up. So I'm trying to get my fists, like my knuckles, to touch the ground and touch my shoulder blades together. Extend the left leg straight. So now both legs are straight. I'm going to squeeze the muscles of my leg so much so that my knee shifts that actually you can feel it lift. Deep breath in. And exhale, knee hinge forward with a flat back. So I'm folding over this extended leg. And the reason that we squeeze the muscle around the knee is just to stabilize it. We're going nice and slow. It can take you a couple breaths to get, or it's going to take a couple breaths to get to your deepest fold here over the extended front leg. It's called Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. You might let your head be heavy and bring the fists up towards the sky or towards the wall in front. So you just want to be mindful. Like if you're working with a shoulder injury, then maybe this isn't the best positioning for your shoulders, but you can decide that for yourself. If it's not, you can just keep your hands at your lower back or even release them onto the ground. If your hands are on the ground because you're having a hard time with balance, just consider moving slower and squeezing the legs in towards one another. So the feet are the stable part here. It's called pyramid pose. So like the base is wider and more stable than the top. So I'm squeezing my legs in towards one another. Left foot is pressing back, right foot is pressing forward, like I'm going to scrunch the mat together. And that is the foundation to this posture and what lets the rest of the body kind of play and move around. We're breathing fully here no matter what. Really deeply stretching the left hamstring, back of the left leg. Then we'll release the hands to the lower back. Release the grip, hands come down to frame the front foot, bend in the left knee, and right foot steps forward. Like 3 years ago, my flexibility was acceptable. Now it's so bad. My torso ratio to my legs are lower. Okay, so I have a short torso and long legs. That's making it harder for me. I totally get it. Yeah, one of the reasons I could like touch my toes like forever, even when I was a kid, is that my torso and legs are proportioned in a way that it's basically like half and half. It's not half and half, but you can see. I'm like, I get it. Long legs is a lot. But flexibility isn't about being able to touch your toes, and it isn't about being able to get your knees to the ground in different positions. It's just about being able to move freely within your own body. So just remember that. Roll all the way up, one vertebra at a time. Arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, hands to heart center. We'll turn to face one another. So yeah, just be mindful, like, it doesn't have to look, flexibility doesn't have to look a certain type of way. It just has to feel a certain type of way in your body. But if you're already aware that you're not feeling flexible, and you feel like you're regressing, if anything, that's going to be an important factor to pay attention to. In this position, I can barely touch the ground. Oh, like forward fold. A lot of people can't. Don't, definitely don't get hung up on like how a pose looks in my body. Like, obviously, you're 6'3". Like, we're shaped differently, and this is what I've been doing like my whole life. So, hands come onto the hips. Bend in the right knee and just open that knee up. So the knee is just opening up like a cabinet door, facing the side. Foot heel comes onto the ankle. We'll drag the foot up to the calf. Tempting to put it on the knee, but actually you want to place it below the knee so we're not putting any pressure on the knee in that awkward angle. Alternately, you might bring the foot to the inner thigh. Either way. So sometimes it can sound like, oh, the inner thigh is like a more advanced position than at the calf, but my recommendation is not to really think of it that way. Having the foot down here takes like a constant active pressure of foot between the legs, almost like you're holding a postcard between your foot and your leg. The hips are pressing forward, the knees pressing out. It takes constant effort to hold it here. Once you have the flexibility to bring the foot to the inner thigh, a lot of that work is done for you because of the shape of the body. So the thigh is naturally pressing into the foot's naturally pressing into the leg. So it may look more advanced, but it actually takes significantly less strength and effort than actually having the foot down on the calf. That's kind of how it works, right? Like, well, in the beginning stages of anything, it takes so much more effort and more strength to get into a shape or to get into a habit of something. That by the time you get to like a more quote-unquote advanced stage of it, it doesn't even feel like as much work, and it turns out it's like actually not as much work. You can actually just roll through it. It might not seem fair, like, oh, okay, it's less work the more flexible I am. It's less strength the more flexible I am. But I don't know, I think it's kind of like a good life lesson. You just gotta get through the reps to get to the part where it actually becomes more easy. So this is called Vrikshasana, tree pose. It's okay if your arms move around. If you move your arms a lot to like hold your balance, it's going to throw you off. So generally just nice and slow, smooth movements, like slow motion movements. Or you can press your hands into one another in Anjali Mudra. We worked on this hand positioning before. So it's just no space between the fingertips. The hands pressed, palms pressed together. And of course, another option is to raise the arms up and let them branch out like a tree. Tree pose. Release the arms, release the leg. Tempting to want to like shake out this left leg, but just resist that urge. Just prove to yourself that that's not necessary. Bend in the left knee. Just open it out to the side and bring that foot into the ankle. So you might be here for your balance pose. You can bring it up, or you can keep the toes on the ankle. Do I play guitar? Oh no. I'm not that musical. That's a ukulele in the corner, but I don't play. I play drums. I can like hold a beat, so I'm pretty good at like a drum circle, like play djembe, and all that. There's a small one behind you. Yes, well, yeah, it's a ukulele, but it's not mine. Yeah, because it's just holding a beat. Yeah, so I used to run drum circles back on the East Coast for the full moon. Super nice. Well, alternately, you might bring the foot to the inner thigh. So one side might be different than the other, and it can feel like, oh, if I got my leg up on the left side, right side, I need to get my leg up to my thigh on my right side. But just consider that you don't treat your body symmetrically the rest of your life. You know, you can only drive with your right leg, probably, hopefully, and you probably cross your legs in a certain way. So if we're not treating our body symmetrically the rest of the time, and then we get to yoga and expect our body to perform symmetrically, it's a little bit of you may be experiencing like a detachment from reality. Like your expectations don't actually match the reality of the situation. Don't get too hung up on forcing your body to be symmetrical in yoga class when one side might need more of something than the other. And that's just the invitation here. If you are in the USA, we have 13,000 miles of distance. Cool, where are you at? I'm in California, so I might even be farther. I might be farther or closer, depending where you think. Hands come into position for Vrikshasana, tree pose, maybe hands at heart center. Maybe they reach up towards the sky, open up. Release that leg down, release the arms down. I'm from Iran. Oh yeah, so we're even further because I'm 4,000 miles away from New York. All right, so how I said we weren't gonna shake. Yeah, so is it 9 p.m. in your place? It's like 9:30 in the morning here. So we're gonna shake it all out now. This is called lymphatic shaking. Well, we're just shaking it out, but this is called lymphatic shaking. We're just gonna lift and drop the shoulders, lift and drop the heels, just let the whole body bounce here. So lymphatic shaking is all about releasing tension and like flushing out the fluids in the lymphatic system that do require movement for proper functioning in the body. I think your circulatory system has a heart that pumps it through, respiratory system has lungs, but the lymphatic system doesn't have an organ that helps move the necessary like fluids and toxins through the body. It needs movement to make that so. So lymphatic shaking is all about that. I'm just going to be here for a couple minutes. I'm just lifting and dropping the heels to create that reverberation. If you want to get into like a full hop, that's great too. Like jumping on a trampoline is great for this. There's really no wrong way of doing it. Just releasing any tension that's built up in the body, any frustration from those balance poses, maybe that you felt. We're just letting that go. Literally just shake it off. Think about like when a dog gets wet, they just shake it off. Or if they get in a fight with another dog, you know, not like a serious fight, but like you know, things get a little out of control. At the end, both dogs shake it off. You're shaking off your day, shaking off whatever is bothering you. For 3, 2, 1. All right, just take a moment here. You might close your eyes, just feel that tingling in the fingers, that energy prana created. Take a deep breath in through the nose, and sigh it out. It's nighttime. Right. From chatting too much, I just try to keep the chat going. Oh yeah, no worries. Just during the, I always tell everyone like during the meditations, I'm not going to talk back, but during the yoga practice, we keep it casual. So if you're, so we're going to come down to the ground. I'm going to do it like this, so you guys can see. Actually, let's start at the top of the mat. Big toes come to touch. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins. And exhale, hands down to the ground. The right foot takes a giant step back. Whoop, stepping on your dog. Don't step on your dog. Gently release that knee to the mat. And then heel toe the left foot towards the right hand. You're going to drop the knee down to the mat. Trying to get the thigh parallel to the long side of the mat. Scoot your back foot back. Point the toes and foot releases down to the ground. No need to apologize. No need to apologize at all. You're all good. I appreciate you. So we're trying to get the hips close to the ground. Hips more or less parallel to the short end of the mat. Take a deep breath in to get tall. And exhale, weight down. Belly, chest, head. This is called pigeon pose. Adho Konasana. And just like before, we wave down belly, chest, head. Here we are again. And the head can come to rest on stacked fists, the ground itself. And this is another one of those poses that we're allowing gravity to do the work. So every exhale just melts you softer over that front leg. Letting the hips be stretched out here. Just noticing where in the body you feel it. I mentioned earlier that sometimes these are the hardest poses because they're just about letting go and being in stillness and just kind of letting yourself melt versus pressing forward. Last deep breath here. And press the hands into the ground, coming upright. Drop your hips onto the mat. I'll bring the knees over to the other side. Hands come to frame towards the back of the mat. And we'll come into a runner's lunge on this side. So now we're facing the back of the mat, the right foot forward. Release the left knee to the ground. And heel toe the right foot over to the left side of the mat. Drop the knee down, rather. Place the knee down, let's not drop anything. Scooch this left foot back. Point the toes, place the top of the foot down. Inhale, shoulders squeeze back, chest tilts up. And exhale, waving down. Belly, chest, head comes down to rest on the ground. With stacked fists, head on hands. Padho Konasana, our pigeon pose on the other side. So we're just breathing here, mindful of where you're feeling the stretch. So this can feel really intense. This pose still feels intense for me. Practicing for like 17 years. But it also feels nice because you can like find the ease in the pose. Sometimes we get into like a deep stretch and there's like panic in the beginning. And it's kind of a negotiation between body and mind of, is this too far? Is this far enough? Are we actually getting a stretch here? Are we on the brink of injury? Like there's this negotiation that happens between head and body about what's best. And are we okay? Are we going to survive this? Are we helping or are we hurting? And we all kind of get to work through like together, yes, in community, but within ourselves. Building up an awareness and a relationship with your own self. Yeah, one last deep breath here. And pressing into the ground and bring it back upright. And let's just swing this leg in front. Oh, cool. Yeah, I am an artist. That's what so yeah. That's what I do all, full time. I just come here on Sundays to teach yoga. Sometimes I come to other days of the week too. Alright, so we'll turn to face one another and bring the legs out wide in a wide straddle. Yeah, so I paint in watercolor and ink. Mostly like I paint, I do yoga, I drink tea. It's kind of it. Thank you. Alright, so my legs open at legs as far as they can go, and then here's a little trick to get in a little deeper is hands come on the ground close to your lower back and you just press the hips forward just a bit. That helps you get a little bit more space. I like to keep my feet flexed, so I'm pressing my heel away, toes are coming in towards my face. Alternately, you can point the toes. Either way, you just want to have the feet active. So you want your feet actively taking a part in this position. The deep breath in, get tall, like there's a string pulling out from the crown of your head. You can even do that by bringing your hands behind you and giving your spine like a little support. On the exhale, we're hinging forward, belly, chest, head. So maybe this is as far as you can go, and that's fine. Or maybe maybe this is already far enough. Otherwise, you're just working to tilt your hips forward, and the torso is going to come with. So often when we have these forward folds, you see somebody in this like forward fold position, it seems like what's needed is flexibility in the spine to round over and come forward. But actually, what's needed is a flexibility and openness in the hips to tilt you forward. So it's more of a hinge from the hips than a rounding in the spine. Hands can be on the ground, maybe forearms are on the ground, maybe your chest is on the ground. Wherever you're at is just fine. There's always further to go. That's the thing. There's nowhere to get to. You just want to be at the place where you're feeling a deep stretch in the inside, your inner hips and your legs, where it's not focused on your knee. So like I can get my chest to the ground, but then my left knee starts like acting like taking all the attention away from the rest of the pose, which tells me, oh, okay, my left knee isn't ready for me to have my chest on the floor, like head on the ground. Even though the rest of my body is, my left knee is going to take precedent because anytime your joints are yelling at you, that's what you want to listen to. They're the priority here. It's not really like much going back from injuring your joints. Like there is, but like why even go that far? We're working towards building this relationship, this conversation with the body, with our bodies, so that we can avoid that. We want to keep getting stronger and more flexible, but there's no rush, there's no deadline, there's no competition. So we're just here for one more deep breath. And we're going to walk the hands up, chest back upright. Bring the hands behind the knees. And pull them in. Even if you can do it without, it just feels so good to have your arms help you in that position. It does for me anyway. We'll have the feet touch, knees splay apart, just a little butterfly flap. Just let your hips kind of like get back attached to your body. That's a joke. Your hips should not have come out of their positionings. And then we'll just bring the knees together. Make sure there's space behind you. You can hug the knees in and we'll roll back. Nice and gentle, giving the knees a hug. We'll rock side to side. Drop the feet down close to the hips. Hands release down by the sides, fingertips grazing the heels or towards it. It's a little tuck of the hips, so I'm just tucking my hips under to bring my lower back to touch the ground. And we roll up one vertebra at a time. Hips come up first. Hips, lower back, middle back, upper back. I'm going to tuck my shoulders under. Just like before, interlace the hands if that's available to you, and this time we're pressing the fist into the ground for even more stability. Squeeze the glutes to press the hips up towards the sky. Setu Bandhasana, bridge pose. Keep all four corners of the feet on the ground here. We don't want to lift the heels. We're breathing fully here. Breathe so deep that if you're looking down past the bridge of your nose, you can see your belly rise and fall with the breath. Strong in the legs, strong in the breath. Last deep breath here. Then unlace the fingers, untuck the shoulders, and roll it down one vertebra at a time. Landed. You can drop the knees side to side. The knees come in towards the chest. Now gently release them over to the right. So knees land to the right, left hip stacks over right hip, right hand lands on top of the left knee, just holding it in place. We're not yanking or anything, just the weight is enough. Left arm opens up like the letter T. Palm face up towards the sky. We'll press this left shoulder down to the ground. So I'm really working towards this left shoulder blade on the ground. Otherwise, everything's relaxed. Breath and gravity are doing the work here. It's okay if your knees don't touch or if they don't touch the ground below you. We're just letting the weight of the legs be enough. You can even turn your head to look over that extended left arm to complete this spinal twist. Supta Matsyasana, supine spinal twist. This pose is really great, especially if you deal with lower back pain. But if you don't, it's also good for preventing it. So it's really all around just a spine healthy pose. Bring the head back up through center, bring the knees up through center, and gently release the knees over to the left. Right hip stacking over left hip, left hand comes to land on top of the right knee, and the right arm opens up like the letter T. Palm face open to the sky, and the head might look over that extended arm to balance out the twist on the spine. So I'm pressing this right shoulder to the ground. Just letting the legs relax as deep in the pose as feels good to them, or as they'll naturally go. Just focusing on keeping the breath deep, letting the body be heavy. Bring the head back through center. Bring the knees in through center. And notice, is there any last movement or wiggle or pose that your body's asking for? And allow yourself to move through that now. So it doesn't have to have a fancy yoga name or a specific anything at all. It could just literally be a shake or a stretch. All class, we tell our body what to do, and now we just take a moment to ask back, is there anything we can do back for it? Anything that would make this pose more, or this practice more well-rounded, more satisfying? Often when we ask our body for answers, we ask our body questions in answers, but not in words. So you just kind of get to roll with it, play around with it. Don't worry about like what it looks like, or if it, you really don't have to worry about looking dumb at all. Like, you're not on screen right now, so feel free to explore fully here and not feel any type of pressure at all, just a little play. And as you're ready, we will find our way back down to the mat for our Shavasana, final relaxation pose. Legs extend, oh hi baby. Legs extend down the length of the mat. feet feet land at least a foot apart from one another. Legs so relaxed that the feet naturally splay open to the sides. Shoulders tuck under to support the chest. Thanks, Duke. Great to see you too. Great to see you too. Shoulders tuck under to support the chest. Arms release down by the sides. Palms face open to the sky. So yeah, I'm here every Sunday. And sometimes I stream throughout the week, but guaranteed Sundays. So palms are face up towards the sky, a symbol, a mudra of receptivity. Allow yourself to receive the benefits of your effort here today. Eyes can close if that's comfortable, just allowing your head to be flat on the ground without a pillow or anything below it. If not, a soft gaze to the ceiling works too, if closing your eyes doesn't work for you. And if you know that laying flat on your back brings pain to your lower back, just bend in the knees, feet come in close to the body and to the edges of the mat. Knock the knees together, lift and tuck the hips, releasing them back down for broken bridge pose. So this will alleviate any lower back pain that you might feel from laying flat on your back. So either in broken bridge, in Shavasana, corpse pose, or seated if you have been practicing seated. Of course, you're welcome to do that as well. As we set up for our Shavasana, our final meditation and relaxation pose. So this pose is all about integrating really all the lessons that you've practiced today in your body into muscle memory, and all of the anything else that opened up for you emotionally or mentally, just allowing that to sink into your psyche as well. I'm going to play some crystal singing bowls for you. And all you've got to do is rest and breathe. Just follow along with my words. Deep breath in through the nose and an audible sigh. 2 more like that. And allow the breath to continue in and out through the nose if that's available. Inviting space between top and bottom teeth as the jaw hangs heavy. Nose and nostrils relax, gently allowing air to pass through like waves lapping up to shore. The space between the eyebrows broadens as all the muscles in the forehead relax. notice if in your mind that inner conversation, even for if a moment, quieted. Notice if in your breath there's ease. Notice if in your body the places of tension have found space. The places of restlessness have found peace. Allow for everything that did and did not happen in class today. And know that in yoga, practice makes practice. Nothing more, nothing less. And allow your breath to deepen as fingers wiggle and toes curl. And every breath in brings your awareness to the surface as head gently rocks side to side. That feeling of heaviness replaced with the feeling of lightness. As arms sweep up overhead for a full body stretch. Allow your knees to bend and roll over to whichever side feels natural, landing in a fetal position. Use that bottom arm as a pillow, fully released and fully supported by the ground below you. Bring to mind any intention you may have set for class, or you can take a moment to set one now. And if that intention inspires you, take it with you off the mat and into the world. Allow it to affect you and the people around you for the rest of your day. With eyes still closed or gently lowered, press your hands into the ground, coming up to a seated position, just like how we started class. Hands come to meet at heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra. Today we worked on a series of leg flexibility and hip opening postures. The first namaste is said silently to yourself, thanking your body for the effort it put into class. And the second namaste is said out loud to the community that held this space. Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone who joined me today. I hope you found something that serves you. I hope your day is better off for having spent some of it here with me. It's great to have so many new faces in today. I said, so yeah, I'm Three-Eyed Tiger here on Twitch. My name's Samala. It's like Pamela, but with an S. You're welcome, Queer Sylveon. Namaste, Jack. So I guess we should keep the raid train going, huh? Should we raid sets and reps, or do you have another preference for someone to raid? Another friend that's on. Looks like Simple Yoga just started too. Looks like Simple_Yoga just started too. Do you guys want to do another yoga streamer, or do you want to do another like bodybuilder type? What are you guys feeling? So yeah, I'm on here every day. No, I'm not. I'm on here on Sundays at 8:30 a.m. Pacific. And then I'm on here every once in a while, like during the week, especially like on holidays and whatnot. And this is basically a setup to class. We just like chat a little bit over tea, meditate. We got like a 10-minute meditation in the beginning. Some people just come for the meditation before work or before their days. Then we do about an hour of actual movement, lymphatic shaking, and functional strength training, and of course yoga poses. And then we end with Shavasana. Yeah, so and I play some
either Tibetan singing bowls, which are metal, or these crystal singing bowls, who a beautiful friend of mine, Ale, is lending me. So while I'm babysitting her beautiful crystal bowls, I've been playing them for you guys. Yeah, so that's what we do here, and I'm always open to suggestions and recommendations and requests, and sometimes we'll work through wrist pain, neck pain, joint resiliency. We do a lot of work with that, and yeah, I just like nerd out about physical therapy and like movement in the body. So yeah, it was so nice to meet you guys, and I appreciate you. Let's go say hi to Sets and Reps, and have a beautiful rest of your weekend. Bye.